Hello and welcome to the spring class of LDST 620, Congregational Renewal and Organizational Change, Dynamics of Organizational Change. And my name is Dr. Dan Munt. I'll be your professor for these next 8 weeks. In just a few days, we start this class, and I'm excited to get to know each of you. Just a little bit about me. Again, my name is Dan Munt. I'm married to Cindy, and I've been married for over 4 decades to her. We have 2 adult children, each of them married and have given us a granddaughter, and we have another granddaughter on the way. And so we are very excited about our grandkids, love spending time with them. I live in Bettendorf, Iowa, which, if you're not from the United States, is right in the middle of the country, the upper Midwest. And today is March 5th, and we got a little bit of snow today. So I don't know if you're around snow, but next week it's supposed to be in the 70s. Today it snowed. So just a little bit about my background. My current role is I'm the director, National Director of Leader Health for the Foursquare Church. And I also am a professor of 2 classes, an undergrad in leadership and this class in leadership. So educationally, I have an undergrad in theology. I have a master's in strategic leadership from Life Pacific, and then a doctorate in strategic leadership from Regent University. And I've had several roles with the Foursquare Church: a pastor, a church planter. I was a district supervisor in our structure that's kind of like a bishop, a district supervisor, and now I have a national role with the Foursquare Church, and I've been doing it for quite some time. So a little bit about this class. I'm very excited about it. What I love about this class, for most of the people who take it, it's instantly practical. It's instantly applicable, which is the best way for adult learners to learn. And so it really does kind of look into organizational culture and how do you change, whether that's a congregation or you oversee a group of people that are in a nonprofit or a public company. There's some kind of familiar things with all of them. The resources we're going to look at, this is one of my favorites, Made to Flourish by Dr. Shelley, and she asserts that every organization is made to flourish, just like we humans are made to flourish. And if we're not flourishing, then what is the problem? When I don't flourish physically, then it might be a medical problem that I have. Well, it's true with organizations. If we're not flourishing, there might be some things to look at to help us flourish. And that will go right into this book, Tony Morgan, The Unstuck Church. What Tony asserts is that every organization, including the church, has a life cycle. The bell curve he uses, and there's the infancy stage and the teenage stage and the adult stage and the senior adult stage and the death stage as well. And most research would tell you that every church organization has a bell curve. And the great thing, especially in the church, you can start a new bell curve to wherever you find yourself today. And so Tony does a great job at just talking it through and helping us diagnose what stage is your church in, and you'll be able to post with some of that. Then we're also going to look at Diagnosing and Changing Organizational Culture by Cameron and Quinn. Great book. We're not going to dive real deeply into this, but you'll do a post and it will be part of a paper, and it's a fairly easy read. It talks about 4 quadrants of culture that I think you'll find very applicable. And then lastly, one of my favorite books, The Bridges, William and Susan Bridges, on managing transitions, making the most out of them. They assert that change is normal. All of us go through changes. Churches go through changes. Organizations go through changes. But what we need to be attuned to in a change, all of us, it happens to all of us, but we need to be attuned to the emotions in that change. What they would assert, change doesn't really mess us up. It's the transition. And we transition from the beginning to the neutral stage to the acceptance stage, kind of almost like grief. And so I think you'll really enjoy each of those. Some papers, we have 3 papers, and I've divided the classes into 3 sections. The first 2 weeks, you have post, and then at the end of the second week, you have a paper. And then we go 3 weeks, and you have post and interaction. And then at the end of the 5th week, which would be 3 weeks later, you have a research paper. And then at the end of the class, you kind of have a capstone, if you will, a project. How would you put these things into practice? I think you'll find that the papers and the post are great learning for you. Now, my understanding is we have 2 students in this class. And we are taking you from here to graduation, I believe. And so the question comes up, well, how do we do post with 2 students? And which is an interesting question. You're going to get to know each other quite a bit. So what I would ask for you to do is each of you do an initial post, and then each of you respond to that initial post and kind of build it out. Likely on most weeks, I will actually ask another question, and then each of you respond to those questions. But if I don't, then you respond to the responses, and that gives you your 3 posts altogether. The first post is, I like post around 250 to 350 words. You can go up to 400. If you get much more than that, I would just say save it for the paper. And I really like clear, concise writing, not overusing words. And so that's your initial post, and then you can read in the course description how many words are for your secondary post and third post. And I'll try to be very active most weeks. I do have an international trip coming up that I may not have the ability to jump online, but we'll see when the time comes. Again, I'll try to be very interactive. And let's do our best to get those posts in early so then we can respond early. If you wait too late and there's only 2 of you, then there's really very little interaction on the board, and that's very, very important. So really is my joy to teach you, to be your professor, I should say, and hopefully we can learn together. I still have a lot of learning to do, and I'll learn from you. And my commitment is that we would learn from each other in this class. So I hope you're well. I look forward to seeing you online in just a few days. God bless.